Hello, my name is Masha and welcome to another Knot with me. If this is your first Knot with me, then make sure to know that this is not a tutorial. It is just a video in which I am making a bracelet and talking to you guys about whatever I feel like talking to you guys. I usually use these as a bit of a kind of like life update video. The pattern to this bracelet is linked in the description, as it always is, if you want to make it. And if you need any help making bracelets, I also have a bunch of tutorials starting from very beginner tutorials to more advanced ones. There's plenty of playlists. I'll link a couple down in the description. So with that out of the way, let's chat, because I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in ages, ever since which you might not even know about if you haven't been keeping up to date with my videos. Ever since I got my job, which I now have a full-time job at a media company, I have been spending much less time on my bracelets, and I've been posting less. I usually posted twice a week here and once a week on my second channel, and now I've just been posting once a week on the main channel, and it's been an interesting transition. I'm still sort of getting the hang of my new routine and, you know, figuring out when I'm going to be doing things, but I'm so happy with everything because I mentioned this in previous videos. I started to have a little bit of an unhealthy relationship with my content on YouTube, which I feel like is very common for a lot of online creators, because as soon as you really start viewing it as your job, it changes the way that you perceive what you are doing and the way that you feel about what you are doing. So I'm much happier about my content now that I don't perceive it as my job and I perceive it as my hobby. But at the same time, I do wish that I could do it more. I think maybe once I get in a proper schedule and a proper routine, maybe I will be able to, but we'll see about that. Anyway, if you missed my wrap-up video for April, which will be linked in the card and in the description, this is actually one of the competition bracelets. So I am hosting a competition at the moment, if you didn't know, the rules for which are going to be, are already in the wrap-up video, which I just mentioned, and I'm giving away 3 bracelets on this pattern, and this is one of them. And I'm quite happy. I really wanted to do a competition for a while. I haven't done one since last year. I think I did one over the summer, and I really like them. And hopefully you guys like them too. I did a theme for this round. It's going to be in 3 rounds, and this round's theme is forest life, and I've already thought of the themes that I'm going to do for round 2 and 3. There's also going to be more winners. There's going to be the 3 main winners for these bracelets from this pattern, and then there's going to be other winners for the daisy chain bracelets, but those are going to be like a little bit smaller. So the first place is going to get these bracelets, and then like second and third will get the daisy chain bracelets. But I'm really excited to see what you guys are creating. I already had a look because the submissions are on Discord at the moment, which the link to my Discord server is in the description as always. And I've already seen a bunch of the submissions, and I'm really excited to see all of them. But yeah, the link to the video in which I explain it is in the description. You've still got a week, I think. Yeah, the deadline is the 31st for round 2, and then after that we're gonna have a vote, and then after that is round 2. But yeah, all that being said, I did quite enjoy making this bracelet and this pattern. I did 3 of these, obviously, for like the competition, so it's more of a collection rather than just an individual bracelet. And I've also made this pattern before with a metallic string, and I really enjoyed making that one as well. It was really fun, although the metallic string kind of wasn't particularly fun because I don't like working with metallics, but I think it turned out really nice. For each of those bracelets, I used a multicolored or sort of color changing string in the middle, and I quite enjoy using color changing strings like that in bracelets like these because I just like to see how the color changes work within the pattern. I think it's really beautiful, and I really do like how it turned out in this bracelet as well. I think I was watching Grey's Anatomy when I was making this. I always get such, because I always do something else while I'm making a bracelet. I don't just sit down and make a bracelet. I either listen to like audiobooks or watch something or talk to someone or whatever. I end up having like a really strong connection in my mind, and whenever I look at a bracelet, I can 9 times out of 10 remember what I was doing while I was also making that bracelet. I think for this one I was watching Grey's Anatomy, which is kind of funny. I've never watched it before. I was watching it for the first time. Quite liked it, actually. I think someone asked me in my live recently on Instagram if I watched it, and yes, I did recently. Anyway, I haven't been to Russia in such a long time. If you don't know, I am also Russian in addition to being British, and I haven't been to Russia in such a long time because of COVID and because of all the travel restrictions, and I haven't been able to see my husband in person in such a long time. Last time I've been there was like near Halloween and like very early November. I think my flight back to London was like November 3rd or something, and I haven't seen him since then, and that's horrible. Long distance relationships are very difficult on their own, but with, you know, travel restrictions and not being able to see each other, they're even worse, because before we used to see each other like every 1, 2, maybe 3 months. I think 3 months was like the longest period in which we didn't see each other, but 6 months is a lot. But finally I am able to go, and I have actually booked my tickets for June to be able to go there and see everyone, and that's going to be hopefully a good time because I haven't seen my family as well in such a long time, and I'm very much looking forward to going. I'm so excited, and I'm also very nervous because I haven't traveled in so long. I get really anxious when I'm traveling. I get flight anxiety. Not so much about flying. I think I'm just nervous about getting to the airport on time, and I end up like, sometimes I have like panic attacks before I go to the airport, and that's not fun. That went a little bit deeper than I thought it would go, but yeah, I am very nervous about flying. I don't particularly like it, and I think having a bit of a break as well between flying last time and going now, I am a little bit more anxious about it, but hopefully it goes fine. I'm very excited about going, and it was, I just started my job though, which is kind of, you know, I wasn't happy with the fact that I had to leave so soon. I've been there for just over a month now, and by the time I go, it would be nearly 2, it'd be like a month and a half, close to 2 months that I have worked there, but that's still very, very early to when I started. Ideally, I wouldn't go on vacation so soon after starting a new job, but honestly, this is such a unique situation that I was like, okay, my family right now is more important. So I decided to do it. But yeah, I have been having a really good time at my job as well, and I'm so excited to go and see my husband and my cats. And I'm also going to be there for my sister's birthday, which is really nice. And my mum's as well. My mum's birthday is like 3 days after my sister's. So that's going to be a good time. And I'm going to buy so much string because I buy the majority of my string when I'm in Russia. I know that people ask me quite a bit. I do have videos on my materials. I have a video overview on the materials that I use. I've also did a string haul when I bought a bunch of string in Russia last time. I'll link both of those videos in the description. But yeah, basically not much has changed since then. I just kind of top up on the strings whenever I run out. I use the same brands over and over again, and I just top up on them. I also have a video on long distance relationships, if that's anyone's cup of tea, if anyone is interested. I did a long distance relationship tips and, you know, kind of just like advice video, I guess, on my second channel. I just realized that I talked about it, might as well mention that. But yeah, basically, people ask me where I buy my strings. I usually buy my strings in Russia purely because I have access to them, because I go there quite frequently, usually. I mean, this time it's been a bit longer than usual, but I do go there quite frequently, typically, and they are very cheap there in comparison to if I buy strings in the UK or even in the US, which I did when I was in the US. I did buy quite a lot of string there as well. But I buy a lot of string in Russia because it's cheaper and it's accessible to me. But it doesn't really matter. I feel like people look up to people that they admire on Instagram or so on in terms of bracelets. And I feel like, you know, a lot of people look up to me because they admire my work, and they think that to achieve the same results as me, or, you know, to kind of replicate what I'm doing, they have to use the same strings that I do, and that's absolutely not the case. The only reason I use the strings that I use is because they are accessible to me. It's not because they're special in any kind of way. They are mostly cotton strings, so if you have access to that, just use whatever you have available to you. It's not about the strings being better or anything. But I will leave the videos if you are curious, because I will be just basically topping up on those. I have run out of multicolored strings. Well, not necessarily run out, but don't have many options anymore. I used to have like such a big variety, a big collection of multicolored strings, because those are the kinds of strings that I really enjoy using, and I don't have that anymore because I've used them all, and that's so weird to me because I didn't think that I ever would run out of them, but because I haven't been to Russia in such a long time and I haven't topped up on a lot of my strings, I have run out. But yeah, I'm very excited to buy a bunch of more string. I recently also reorganized my entire string collection, which I did a video on how I reorganized my string collection, like right at the beginning of my YouTube journey, I guess, which is before I even did my face reveal, which is kind of like so far ago, so long ago at this point. I'll leave that video linked in the card in the description. I think a lot of people like that video and I quite like making it. But in that video, I was winding strings onto bobbins and then putting the bobbins in boxes. I don't do that anymore because it takes up a lot of time, and I also found that it's not a very good system for me personally. I know that a lot of people like to do it, but I think it just isn't a good system for me personally because I just forget to put them away and they end up like just in a mess everywhere. So instead, I've basically separated all of my strings into colors. So I've got like blues, greens, whatever, reds, and then I just put them in like little Ziploc bags and I store them like that. And then whenever I need a certain color, I just kind of dump them out, figure out whichever color I want, and then put them in. And when I take a string off, like when I take the little paper pieces off of it, you know what I mean, like on the skein, the paper pieces, when I take them off, I then put it onto a bobbin. But other than that, if I haven't already started using a string, it's like in the form that it comes in. I don't wind it onto bobbins straight away. I only wind it onto a bobbin if I've started using it. And I found that that system works for me quite a bit. I did share it on Instagram, which you should follow me on, by the way, for tips like this and also to see my bracelets. But yeah, we're heading to a close now with this bracelet. I did quite like making it. I thought it was really fun. Obviously, I did a collection of these bracelets and I found them to be quite enjoyable, and I really like how they turned out. I hope you like them too, and I hope you participate in the competition, which is going to be running for the majority of the summer. Round 1 is happening now. The explanation of how to participate and everything is going to be in my April wrap-up, which is linked in the description, and I hope you like it. I hope you have a good time if you do decide to participate, and thank you for watching this video. Before I go, I want to give a special shout out to my patrons, and especially my top supporters, whose names are going to be appearing on screen right now. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you also want to become a patron, there is a link in the description where you can sign up and get exclusive perks for your donations. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!